Hi everyone from Jerusalem. Um, we've just finished day 16 of the war. So you send like a message to your Google consultant, your Google Ads guy, out of office message. You send a message to your WordPress person, out of office message. Yep, they're not just out of office. They mean on the front lines. You go for a coffee, they give you a plastic container, like plastic, just in case there's a siren. Some kids are in school, some aren't. Depends on the capacity of the bomb shelter of this school. There's so many of these like moments where there's no sirens. It's quiet in Jerusalem, but and you truly know that there's a war by this absurd reality. Today, I spent 3 hours trying to reach LL, seeing as I bought a refundable flight, but then the app didn't work. It took 3 hours to get to them on the phone. And like normally I would be cursing and freaking out about the customer service. And today I'm like, well, at least I'm not on the front lines. So it gives you a new sense of perspective. We had a call from a friend last night who's on the Lebanese border, and you hear what he's going through and you hear his challenges, and you're like, okay, I have a bed to sleep in tonight. He hasn't taken off his shoes for 2 weeks. He's had 2 showers in just over 2 weeks, and he's dodging quite literally mortars, grenades, suicide drones. Really, really scary. And he actually asked us to procure supplies for his unit, and I went into Jody mode and used every bit of my vitamin P. So when you live in Israel, you need vitamin Protexia. Everything that happens in Israel is because of who you know. And I sort of just unleashed on my network, because some of the supplies I wanted are really hard to get. Doesn't mean the army won't get them in, yeah, but the army just brought in 300,000 reservists on a very short notice, and a lot of the reservists have personal supplies that they bring up to the army. So if you haven't been, seriously called up for many years, you might have a jacket that's too small and you're like bigger now, a few sizes bigger now. It might be that you gave a jacket you had to your nephew, to your son. A lot of supplies are missing. A lot of people no longer have them for whatever reason, and they're personal supplies, not necessarily talking about sophisticated army supplies, but if you're out on the front line and you need cold fleeces, and it has to be an army issued one. So quite a challenge. Gavin and I spent the entire day running around trying to procure this stuff. We also managed to raise a lot of money for it. Still need to raise more. But that's what you do in wartime. We were also cooking today for a lone soldier, our adopted lone soldier who was our neighbor in New York. I've often mentioned her, Tamira's best friend. She was giving an off 15 hours, or so she was told this morning. And she gave us a list of all the food she wanted, and we went shopping and we made a cake, and she wanted this and she wanted that. And just as we had finished preparing it all, Gavin was going to go and pick her up. She's like, no, they changed it. Maybe I'll be able to get out on Tuesday. So we were disappointed that we wouldn't see her, but I wonder how she felt. 3 weeks not getting out, dreaming about a home-cooked meal. She was like, guys, I just want a bed that's the same. She's a combat soldier. So she's like, I just want a bed to sleep on that's bigger than my body, and some home-cooked food. That was her only requests. And then we went to I guess they called it a human line outside the president's residence. The families of hostages were meeting the president. The president's house is like 10 minutes walk from our home. So we went there with hundreds of other people who just showed up last minute, and everyone showed up with Israeli flags and sang songs and said Tehillim. And it was a unity event to show the families we care, we in it with them. It's really hard, there's one of the posters, a big blown up poster that they had there, was my kid's madrich in Bnei Keva. Miron was a co-madrich with his sister. They live in the community. It's hard when you really know the people. What else can I tell you? I'd say that Tamira needs extra credit, because besides working an insane schedule of like 8 hours on, 8 hours off, and her 8-hour shifts aren't really 8 hours, and then you still have to have a shower, stretch your legs, chill, eat, possibly call your parents, depending what time her shift ends, and then get up again to be at another shift in 8 hours, which is really crazy. And she's been doing this now. She started the week before the war broke out. She had gone in, and she's only had 24 hours off in over 3 weeks. But she says when she gets into bed at night, she's so like highly strung, that she goes and she's on social media, she starts battling for the truth. And she's been sending us like some of her comments getting like 57 likes, and you know, so many people responding to her. So we call her our, you know, army warrior by day, or shift 1, and shift 2 she's a digital warrior. So hats off to Tamira. Let's all do our bit, and please God, stay safe everyone. The world's gone crazy everywhere, and please keep all our soldiers in your prayers.